What is going on with CSGO? We just had the biggest market crash ever, and now one of the most well-known pros, I guess he's well-known now, he's kind of washed, he's getting exposed for being a massive scammer. STEWIE2K. There is a entire drama about him. TDM Jesus just dropped a video. We're going to react to it. The last time I watched competitive CSGO was 10 years ago when CSGO Lounge was still around. And I know this dude's name. So this is big for CS.
This video is going to be about STEWIE2K. Not for the first time in his career, Stewie is facing some controversy, and this time he's not just accused of being a jerk, he's being accused of being a jerk who's committed some actual crimes. And I'm not talking about the smokes. So what has STEWIE2K gotten up to? Well, let's get into things. So for anyone who might not know, I will explain who Stewie is. Stewie is a very well-known former CS pro who won a major playing for Cloud9 in 2018 and also won an Intel Grand Slam in 2019.
Chat, I feel like if you play CS, even if you absolutely do not care about the CS pro scene, you've probably heard STEWIE2K's name. It spawns in your brain when you start playing CS.
Liquid. Following that, he moved to Evil Geniuses, where his career rapidly started to mimic the trajectory of that org, which is to say, definitely not upwards, and then after quitting and streaming for a bit, he subbed in for G2 at 2024 Dallas, where they won, at which point he went back to streaming, all while having a massive fight with Richard Lewis. In general, he's regarded as being one of CS's most successful pros and also a major personality in the scene, who's generally been a fan favourite, although admittedly a divisive one. So why are we talking about Stewie today? Well, the story begins with a very well-known Counter-Strike skins trader called Metalcat making a tweet which promisingly starts off with him saying, "Stewie is a piece of shit." Well, that's a statement. So what are the allegations? Well, Mattel alleges two things. The first is that Stewie took some skins off him and didn't pay for them. The second is that after the recent update that crashed the skins market, Stewie changed his mind about paying and wanted to return the skins, but then didn't even bother doing that anyway. So Mattel has
I want a refund. Chat, I want a refund, and I'm not gonna give you the stuff back, actually. Give me the money, and I'm gonna keep the stuff. Bro thinks it's Amazon or some shit, dude.
And explaining everything that's happened. Now, these DMs start off on October 14 and they show Stewie trying to pre-sell Mattel some skins. Basically, this means Mattel is paying in advance for skins Stewie will trade him in 7 days once they're tradable. This is quite common with big traders. It's not—
Dude, I've heard of the 7 days pre-sale thing. I thought it was crazy to pre-sell something like already and then wait 7 days to get it. But now, with the reversal updates, you are technically paying 2 weeks early. You wait 7 days, you trade the item, and then the person has another 7 days to get it back from you. That item really being yours is up in the air for like 2 weeks while the person already got paid.
Particularly unusual, and Stewie pre-sells Mattel a Butterfly Doppler for $4K, Sports Gloves Vice for $820, a Karambit Case Harden for $1,896, and he also starts fishing around on the gambling site that's sponsoring him for an extra knife.
Oh
now,
no.
This on its own isn't too weird.
Oh no.
Stewie's in a bit of a rush, but there could be a bunch of reasons for that. But what is weird is this message Stewie sends him on October 16, declaring that he's out of time and he desperately needs $2,000 right now. This is a massive red flag, and not only that, you may notice that Stewie talks about paying back everything on November 13. What does he mean by this? Well, he's referring to the fact that he already—
Isn't this guy like a millionaire? It's just like, it's always really fishy, chat. If someone who is supposed to be really rich asks you for money, they're probably broke as for like won several $1 million, and then now you're asking for an extra $2 grand. It's like there's something fishy. You probably lost all the money.
K from last month. Stewie2K, more like Stewie25K, right?
Won close to $1 million. Why is he asking for money? And dude, he's already in debt, 25K, and he's trying to take out another 7K in debt. That's crazy,
right? Now, Mattel is well known in the skins community for being way too trusting and giving money to people that he shouldn't. Gonna mention that now, Mattel has a history of mistakes like this. Anyway, he doesn't immediately respond, and Stewie manages to get his hands on an M9 Gamma Doppler, which Mattel then pre-purchases for $2,700.
Oh my god, so we're now up to $35,000 in debt.
To Mateo that apparently his sponsor has gone and reversed the trade for the M9 Gamma Doppler. Now, trade reversals are a very specific system that only works in a very specific way. If you lie about it, it will be obvious to someone who understands it, and trade reversals reversals in this situation are very weird anyway. This is before the recent update that broke the Steam market, so that's not an element. And even weirder is that apparently the sponsor, a gambling site called Skin Club, has given Stewie double credit for it. And good news, apparently that means he's got an extra knife for Mattel, which he also wants to pre-sell. Now, Mattel immediately starts querying this because it's very odd. Firstly, Stewie is claiming he can still get the M9 Gamma Doppler, but that should be impossible. If it was reversed, it should be locked in the bot's inventory for 30 days. Secondly, he claims that the trade was apparently reversed by someone who withdrew an item from the same bot. Now, this also is completely impossible. Stewie would not be affected in that case. But not to worry, apparently the CS dev team itself intervened to help Stewie fix his problem with a...
Dude, chat, that is such a massive lie, dude. There's MFers that have lost not millions, tens of millions of dollars in skins. Valve does not give a shit. They wiped out $3 billion from the market cap and they didn't give a shit, dude. And then you're telling me STEWIE2K is talking to Valve. Yeah, right, bro.
Gambling site bot. Very believable, Stewie. Now, after asking a bunch of questions, problem with a gambling site bot. Very believable, Stewie. Now, after asking a bunch of questions, Mattel says,
this MFer is so lying.
This is actually just Chinese for, okay, you're just lying to me, so please shut the fuck up. And Stewie, sensing he's not being believed, sends Mattel an image of the M9 Gamma Doppler to prove it's still in his inventory.
Chat, M9 Gamma Doppler. Covert knife, factory new. The custom-designed balisong, commonly known as butterfly knife. Bro, are you kidding me? You could literally tell where it's photoshopped. Look at this. Look. This is what he did. He copied the top, and then he just inspect elemented the name. Bro, are you really that lazy? Could you not inspect element the description too?
An M9 Doppler that apparently thinks it's a butterfly knife. Now, Mattel goes and buys the Gambit for 2,481 USDC anyway. He's known for being stupid sometimes. Also, apparently Stewie's trying to convert the crypto to cash.
Okay, dude, at some point, there's a well-known saying, if you owe the bank $2,000, that's a you problem. If you owe the bank $30,000, that's the bank's problem, bro. At some point, this guy who's doing the trading, you're an idiot, bro. Like, how are you gonna get a negative $32,000 in debt and then give him more debt? Like, we'll do that. It's not okay that Stewie's scamming and that he's an idiot, but it's just like, at some point, you're an idiot too.
Which is never a great sign. But wait, there's more. The next day, Stewie is back and wants to pre-sell another $11,500 of skins a month in advance.
No way.
Mattel replies, sorry, no crypto, but that's actually just Chinese for, I do have crypto, but you can fuck off and stop trying to steal from me. But that doesn't stop Stewie. He immediately starts begging Mattel for more money. This time because his PayPal is locked. He then tries to sell him an Orb Silk Tiger, which Mattel declines. And then, on October 20th, looks like someone had their trades reversed again. Again, this is before the update that broke the market, so that's unrelated, but luckily Stewie has visual proof. Very badly photoshopped proof. Again, this image is impossible, and Mattel would have instantly known that. Stewie then immediately starts pleading for help with the makeup.
Dude, this guy needs to just get better at Photoshop, bro. I could cook a better Photoshop, bro. Think if you were Mattel Cat, this guy, right? Stewie is already negative 37K with you. He owes you $37,000. And then he's telling you that he's negative on Zelle. This guy's supposed to be a millionaire, all right? This guy is supposed to be a millionaire. What happened to the millions? You're negative on Zelle? And also, Stewie, if he's so broke, right? Because you don't do this type of thing if you have money, right? You don't get into this type of problems if you have money. It's like there's clearly something going on where he has some sort of addiction or something to where he's just like, he needs these skins. I wouldn't be surprised if he's taking these skins and immediately gambling them, dude.
That he knows didn't actually happen. Mattel ignores this and says, you better give me the rest of the skins. And Stewie starts looking for more skins to give to Mattel. He settles on a Crambit Fade, but wait, apparently there's a problem, and he wants Mattel to get into a call with his team and sponsor. And in response, Mattel says no. Just give me the money. Yeah, so at this point,
I would say Sigma if the guy didn't allow him to take a $37,000 line of credit with him.
Tells Stewie to get his shit together and stop asking for more money. Stewie's response is to throw his sponsor under the bus. Apparently, it's all their fault for some reason.
It's Skin Club.
And
blame my sponsor. You're a millionaire.
Message to try and explain the trade reversals. You were the few affected by the trade reversal due to Cloudflare servers going down and leaving the website compromised.
It's their servers.
Ignoring the grammar errors for a moment, trade reversals have nothing to do with fucking Cloudflare. So Stewie is just making
you don't understand, guys. I had to reverse the trade because the pothole on my street was getting fixed. Like, what are you talking about, Stewie?
Yeah. Now, this does not move Mattel, so Stewie then turns to begging. Apparently, he just didn't expect it, and he's late on his payments and bills and afraid. He asks to get in a call. Mattel's having none of it and just starts talking about the skins, and at this point we start going in circles with Stewie pleading and apologizing but not actually fixing anything. Eventually, we get to the spot where Stewie says, "I'd like to have a proper conversation, at least be honest with you." And Mattel replies, "No, I'm too tired, I don't want to listen to your stuff."
Again, it'd be a flex if that guy wasn't.
Apparently, Stewie has the money, but it's just in investments that he can't access. He says his situation is bigger than what he's able to explain right now. He also says he's apparently planning on going pro again, and that's why he needs to borrow this money. And in response, Mattel demands the butterfly. I'm pretty
sure, I don't know, chat, if it's just me, but I'm pretty sure you could go pro with default gloves and default knives. I don't think your skins affect your ability in Counter-Strike, but I may be wrong. You don't understand. I need him to be better.
Who assures Mattel that he totally has the money, but he then adds that it would really help him if he could just get one more short-term loan right now. Now, at this point, Mattel has checked with Skin Club, and he is 100% certain that the whole trade reversal stuff is bullshit.
The new debt number just changed.
Out on it, and also makes a blunt demand that he starts paying up. Stewie replies that he can't because he's got a problem with his payment system, and then there's some fucking around with a different sponsor who Stewie wants to pay him in advance to cover this, even though it sounds like he hasn't met deliverables. Now, Mattel proceeds to completely lose his cool. He threatens to expose Stewie and also accuses him of being a gambling addict. Now, Stewie immediately gets defensive and starts accusing Mattel of assumptions and accusations. So Mattel demands $1,177 to settle the initial debt. Stewie says he's good for it and he'll have it as soon as his manager gets things together. Mattel says okay, but in the meantime, Stewie starts complaining again about the accusations, and in particular, the fact that Mattel doesn't believe that the skins were traded back. Now, the problem here is that Stewie doesn't know how trade reversals work, so he doesn't understand how obvious his lies were. He thinks it's still believable, and this kicks off a bit of an argument.
Is this guy dumb? Does he not play CS? It's like, does he not play CS? Is he not like a CS pro? Like, what are we talking about here, dude?
Waiting on is apparently nowhere to be found, and while they're stuck, Stewie is not very happy with Mattel. I've respectfully taken accountability, apologized, and reassured you many times that I will be paying back the money.
Okay, then give me the money.
To the skins.
We're not. None of this freaking like, oh, I'm so sorry. I've tried to make it right. Does not fix the fact that you have not paid the man the money, bro.
To speed anything up or really do any good, especially when I've been cooperating the best I can.
That is one big pile of shit.
In the meantime, there are more problems with the sponsor, who Stewie apparently can't be bothered to censor anymore. So now Stewie is saying, oh, maybe it's only going to be some of the money on November the 1st. And Mattel continues to be patient, and look, it's a miracle. It turns out there is $3,500 in Stewie's PayPal balance available on October 31st, and hopefully the rest of it will be ready by at least November the 2nd. Close enough, right? But there is a catch. It might not be in crypto, it might be in skins now. So Mattel puts his foot down and says, no, crypto only. And Stewie responds by saying, what? Are you breaking a promise? What the hell, man? And then storms out saying he's not going to talk again until November the 1st. Now, Mattel went public after this.
Yeah, I mean, dude, at this point, bro, Stewie is just... This fall-off is insane.
But first, let's check out Stewie's reaction. He was asked about it on stream and proceeded to say...
Alright, you know what's crazy, bro? I don't really care. Look, I'm going to pay him back before the 1st.
So there you go, guys. He doesn't even care.
Bro, why is he like freaking... Why is bro dark in like a freaking One Piece character, bro? We know who you are. You're not getting revealed next chapter, bro.
He proceeded to admit that he did Photoshop the trade reversals, but it was only because he was panicking due to the crash in skin prices because of the trade up update, which would be a great explanation if it wasn't for the fact that the reversals happened 3 days
before. It's literally, you have the dates.
That update. So that's another lie. So naturally, the
STEWIE2K, more like Stewie caught in 4K, bro. He's not even trying to, he just doesn't give a shit, bro.
Question became, how the fuck has someone so successful ended up like this? Well, it's obvious. He invested in Paris. Look, hold on to that thought, because as it turns out, this wasn't an isolated incident. Stewie owes money to a lot of other people, and Mattel is simply the first one to speak out.
Dude.
He immediately faced another accusation on Twitter, and I've spoken to 2 other traders who are owed a combined total of $100,000.
So
All the same sort of stuff. Stewie is making and breaking promises to repay them for months. He's using
he owes two other people $100K. Okay, so he owes a total of $135,000. That is insane, bro. You're supposed to be a millionaire. Like, what is going on? Yeah, it's like an addiction or some shit, bro. He's probably taking all these skins and immediately freaking gambling them.
Stewie is making and breaking promises to repay them for months. He's using their money to repay other people. He's leading them on. He's lying. And while I can't directly show you the receipts, I can show you this. This is Stewie, just this month. Don't be confused by the date. It is October, not August, trying to get into the Skins for Pros Discord server. This is a server where pros can borrow skins off fans, and when Stewie was politely declined because he's not a pro player anymore, he blocked the guy he was talking to. And to me, this whole situation looks like Jacob all over again. How has Stewie gotten himself into this mess? My guess would be an addiction. That's what this looks like. It looks like someone with an addiction who's ruined themselves and ended up in a massive web of debt. But Stewie claims it is a family thing, and while we obviously can't trust this guy, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Stewie, this part is for you. I'm sorry to hear you're dealing with family problems. That sounds awful, but the people you've stolen from aren't responsible for that. You've lied to these people, you've broken.
I'm gonna say this, at the end of the day, they're skins, right? Like, who's gonna go after him? If this was like debt to like a bank or debt to like, I don't know, like people you know in real life, that's different. But like STEWIE2K could realistically just get up and say, all of you guys, I'm not paying anybody back, and just walk away. His reputation's already ruined. I think it'd probably be extremely lame. I don't think you could, like, these people could really go after him. That's like the scary thing about skins. It's like he could just get away with this. I think this is a good anti-gambling PSA. Do not touch gambling or you will end up Stewie negative 200K.